Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to AFC Stripes. It is your boy, Anthony. And yes, today we are talking about is the pressure now on Joe Burrow. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals went ahead and reversed the pressure back on to the star quarterback, Joe Burrow. Joe Burr, you know what I'm saying? He's got so many nicknames because he's just that good. Yeah. So did the Bengals just reverse all the pressure back on to Joe Burrow? Because we know how bad this defense was last year. And the Bengals organization have done their due diligence and have gone out and made huge moves to win now, going forward for this team. Going and getting Dexter Lawrence, going inside Kyle Duggar, Jasir Taylor. You know, the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, let me not forget Mafe. The Cincinnati Bengals have addressed a lot of needs on this defense that was the worst in the NFL last year, hands down. You know, how many games can you put up 40, 35, 38, 40, and you still lose the game? I believe they lost 7 games like that last year. 7 games. That's just unacceptable. But the Bengals, they went ahead and did their thing. They went out into the free agency market and got some guys to add to the defense. They still have a few things that they can clean up in the draft, which we'll get into as well. But the Bengals organization has reversed all the pressure back on the Joe Burrow. But, I mean, it's not pressure I don't think Joe Burrow can't handle. The guy, when he's healthy and upright for the whole season, top 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the NFL, without a doubt. And I think he's proven that. I believe him and Matthew Stafford are the best pure passers of the ball in the NFL, in my unprofessional opinion, if you ask me, just from watching. And also, I could be a little biased. I am a Bengals fan, you know, so hey. But I believe a lot of people agree with me. When Joe Burrow is not injured, he is the best quarterback in the league. With that being said, I think the Bengals have now found out that you cannot win in this league without a defense. Yeah, you gave Joe Burrow his shiny little toys. You know, he got Jamar Chase, he got T. Higgins, he got what he wanted. But with no defense, we saw how that panned out. Only winning with 5-6 games last year. That's just unacceptable. In Cincinnati, it's come to be a new high standard. Winning and making playoffs is a must, especially when you have a generational quarterback such as Joe Burrow, who's now 29 years old. You know, how many times can this guy get a season-ending injury and still still have love for the game and still want to play? You know, look at Andrew Luck. The guy was like, it ain't even worth it because the Colts didn't want to protect him. Now the Bengals have built a decent line around Joe Burrow with Amarius Mims, Orlando Brown Jr., you know, Ted Karras at center, you know, Dalton Reisner and Dylan Fairchild. A decent offensive line that we've got going on. I like the moves that we have made this offseason. I'm curious to see where we go in draft. I believe that a lot of these pieces are just going to be for depth this season. I believe if they keep the second pick, or if they don't trade or do anything, I believe the second pick, they will use that on a guy they believe can be an instant impact on this defense. I don't think they go offense. I think they either go Jacob Rodriguez, or they catch one of those safeties or those corners that might fall back into their hands. It might just be there. But I believe they go linebacker or safety or corner. I believe, in my opinion, that those are the biggest needs still on this defense. I believe for the rest of the picks, they're going to be depth pieces. You know, you got your star running back and Chase Brown. They might even draft a running back late. You got Chase Brown, you got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You know, you bring back Gesicki. They might keep it hometown and go Ohio State tight end. He slips my mind right now, but they might even go tight end with the second or third, fourth round pick, you know. But defense with that first pick, I believe that they have to go defense. They have to go linebacker, corner. You need another guy on that defense to help out. But the Bengals have made major moves to that defensive line and added to that secondary. You know, they've done what they could with what they had. You know, They are paying four guys $143.5 million this coming up season. Crazy. Four players, $143 million. Yeah, we better win now. We $143 million. We need to see results. And the Bengals, they've went out. They've addressed the defense. Now it's on Joe Burrow's shoulders. Can he stay healthy? When he's healthy, we see the kind of quarterback he can be. We've addressed the defense because when we made it to the Super Bowl a few years ago, was that 21-22 season? The Bengals had a great defense in DJ Reader, Jesse Bates, Awuzie, Jermaine Pratt. There was no bums on that defense. Those were legit guys. That just goes to show you, man, you cannot win in this league. I don't care how many points they want scored in a game. I don't care how high they want the points to be scored in the game. You have to have defense in this league. Defense travels. When you go to Kansas City, when you go to these places like that, you have to have defense. That's why they call it Burrowhead. He's proven he can get the job done. But he's not the only guy out there. It's a team. There's 11 guys on the field at one time for the offense and defense. It's a team, man. So with that being said, the Bengals have put the pressure back on Joe Burrow. He's asked, he's gotten. He got T. Higgins. He got Jamar Chase. They've addressed the defense, the defensive line. Dexter Lawrence, Jonathan Allen, Mafe, Kyle Duggar, Jasir Taylor at nickel. I mean, now let's get to the draft Thursday. Let's get some solid picks. Let's get a linebacker, maybe a corner in the second, instant impact player, instant starter, day one guy. And let's see where we'll go from there. I believe this is a huge upgrade. I believe they go from last to at least the middle of the pack with just these additions. I'm not saying they're going to be a top 5, top 10, but we don't need them to be that. We need them to be 15th, 16th. We just can't be 30th in every category. Defensive statistic category. We cannot do that again. If we can be 15th, 16th, that'll work. That'll get us to the playoffs and just let the offense do what they do, and let's get some stops on defense. With that being said, make sure you guys go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel AFC Stripes. I'm your boy Anthony. I will be coming to you soon with more content and going live the day of the draft, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. I'll see y'all later. Peace.